Mmm. Good coffee. Well, good morning, friends. This is Andy coming to you again from here at Andy's World Bass. Thought I'd make a little coffee chats video for you today and play some bass and talk a little bit and kind of invite you into my morning warm-up ritual. The instrument that I'm going to play this morning is my Sadowsky Designs Metro Express Hybrid PJ5. I've had this bass for a couple months now, and I really love it. I strung it with my favorite Golly jazz flats, 45 to 130. I'm able to set it up really precisely and to the way that I like it, which is just the right amount of relief, so there's not excessive buzz, and so that I can be very dynamic on it. You know, I can play it at a moderate kind of energy that I'm putting on it, and you won't detect any kind of fret buzz or even fret influence, right? But then I can change my dynamics. And I call that quacking. I can get it to start to quack in the way that I like. And when I say quacking, I mean that in a positive, definitely in a positive way. And then if I want to play greasy and sound like I'm sliding on top of the frets and I want to hear that fret, I can kind of lift up on the strings and play with a real light touch with the left hand, so where I'm not really pushing all the way down, and then I can get the frets to be involved in the sound that I'm going for. Them to be just the pitch and nothing else, I can have that. If I want some, slide into, or move in and out of some slap bass if so inclined. And I don't really have to do anything in terms of making adjustments. That's kind of what I'm always after. One sound that enables me to do all my stuff without having to fiddle around with the knobs on the bass. I set it in one place and go. Now what I might do is mess with the blend control a little bit. You know, if I want to get a little more alive with harmonics or a little bit more like burping, I I might just, roll to the back pickup. But typically I stay towards using both pickups, but never both pickups right in the middle. I'm either slightly rolled to the neck or slightly rolled to the bridge. One thing I did want to talk about in this video and mention is that I recommend that everybody get a set of these Music Nomad Diamond nut files. There's 5 of them in here for a 5-string bass, and they're the exact size. This is a 130, 85, 65, 105, and 45. So the nut files are the same exact size as the gauges of the strings that I use. So I'm able to, with that set, I'm able to really fine-tune my instruments just the way I like them. And one thing I've learned over the years fiddling around with my instruments is that having the nut, you want the nut as low as you can possibly get it, because that's going to enable you to have the best possible setup. Most of the time, when a bass isn't setting up right, isn't behaving properly, is buzzing in weird ways, typically if you play a two-note chord using like a B and a D, or a B flat and a D, in these kind of double stops, you'll get like behind your hand buzz, where the strings behind your hand are buzzing, or you might even get like wolf tones and weird sympathetic vibration stuff. So that's a good way to test it. I want to hear nothing coming from this bass except for the notes that I'm playing. Most of that comes down to having the nut as low as you can get it. But you got to be careful, because you don't want to, and especially with these, because they do a really good job. So you only got to go over it a couple times with light pressure and then check it, and go over it with light pressure, because if you take off too much, you're in trouble. One good thing about the Sadowsky Metro Express basses, though, is that if you do take them down too much, you can always come back up because it's an adjustable nut. That is a cool factor. But I haven't had to do that. But I did take them down from what it came with. I took them down a little bit on all of the Metro Express basses I bought, and the result has been, for me, for what I like, a perfect setup, because it has just the right amount of fret influence when I want it. And it also has no fret influence when I want it. So I can have no buzz when I don't want buzz, and I can have just the right amount of tasteful and intentional buzz when I want it. That's my setup. Moderate relief, medium action, medium gauge strings. Very, very cut and dry. There's nothing weird or nothing special about it. And of course I follow the radius of the fingerboard, and that's going to be different on every bass. With setting the string height. I don't use gauges and stuff like that. I don't know how. I don't have any, and I never have. But I just use. I know what I want. I know what I when it feels good and when it does what it needs to do in terms of how it sounds and when I'm playing it. So that's what I go off of. You know, I just kind of you know, and play it. You know, this bass, in all of these Metro Express basses, I did do a little bit of very basic fretboard edge cleanup, I guess you could call it, or more of a rounding than a cleanup. It wasn't like they were like razor sharp and sticking out. But I was able to use some sanding sponges like I do at an angle and take it up and down the sides of the fingerboard, and I was able to round it to a more kind of soft and comfortable place that I'm used to, because I'm really picky about that. You know, I kind of grasp the neck, and I'm holding it like this, and I'm coming over with my thumb, and this part of my hand is really on the fret edges when I'm playing. That's just my style. The other thing I do is I don't only play with the tips of my fingers. I play with this part, and sometimes even all the way down here, which is really weird. You know, I'm trying to show it now, and it makes me not sound as good when I'm trying to show it, but I'm telling you, I do that all the time. You know, like barring. You know, holding one finger down and playing 3 strings. And you could think of it like that. See right there? I'm not on the... There's nothing proper about the way I play. I play the way I play. It works for me. I like to sound fluid and loose and kind of greasy and even a little sloppy. Is in my way of playing the bass, I think is cool, and it's like not sloppy in a way that it don't work. It needs to work and it needs to land, but I like to just kind of slide in and out of things and be real kind of loose with the left hand. I don't like to be all... And I can't get into that kind of proper technique. I've never been able to. I kind of just try and glide around the fingerboard and not be too locked into any fingerings either, because I don't like to use my third finger very much. It's just to me it's always seemed like the weakest link, and I don't like putting asking that much of that finger, because I don't think that structurally it's just there. I mean, I don't think that it, you know, I think that my first and my second and my pinky are very, very strong, but I don't think that this third finger, I don't think it's made, you know, I don't think the genetics of the, or the, you know, of the human hand makes this finger very strong. And it sure as hell makes these 3 strong, but not so much this one. So I don't use it that much. I mean, I use it up high. But I hardly hardly ever use it down low. So, yeah, you know, get some of them music nomad nut files, and you'll realize quickly the benefit of getting the nut nice and low. Most import inexpensive basses, you know, they don't have the benefit of an actual true luthier style complete setup. They have something that's kind of like a factory setup, and it's kind of like good enough or whatever. So much improvement can be done on most factory setups if you just have a little bit of knowledge of how the truss rod works, what relief is, how to adjust an action to a radius, and being able to not be afraid to take a little out of that nut and get it lower right here, because most of the time we're right down here. If you have a high nut, a slightly too high nut, when you go to play an F or a C or B flat or any of those, you'll have to like push down, right? I barely even have to touch it there. There's no reason why you should have to do anything other than barely touch it there, because all you're doing is shortening the length of the string by this much. So it's way out of the way of all the frets down low. So there you go. I hope that, you know, what is that? Oh, there's a guy in a snowmobile out in front of my house. Well, I guess this would be a good time to say have a good day. I've been talking for long enough. Yeah, I love these basses. They're a good example of a import that's loaded with great potential and loaded with great features, playability and looks and sound and great finishing and all kinds of great features that kind of go along with everything that Roger Sadowsky has kind of sewn into his version of the jazz bass. And you know, you get it at an affordable price, and then with a little bit of TLC or even doing some upgrades to it, you can bring it into a place where it's very kind of pro-friendly. I've certainly been able to, and I'm going to in the coming weeks. I put some Nordstrand pickups in one of mine because I had them on my bench over here, and I was just like the curious type. And then that kind of got me thinking, because when I put them in that other bass, which is still in my gig bag, because I took it on a gig the other night, the one with Nordstrand pickups in it, it was just kind of like a light bulb moment where I was like, wow, these basses are pretty damn good now, but now that I've put some, you know, pickups that I'm really familiar with and I'm really comfortable with, I put those in it, and then I was like, wow, this is making it even better than it was. So I talked to the guys at Sadowsky and I talked to the guys at Nordstrand, and we're going to work together to do some upgrades on these instruments, and then I'm going to be able to bring that to you and let you see and hear what it sounds like with the Sadowsky drop-in preamp, the upgraded Sadowsky drop-in preamp, and then of course the Nordstrand pickups that I'm going to put in them. So that'll be fun. And yeah, so stick around, hang around, do more of these morning coffee chat, bass talk time stuff, and I don't know, we'll see what else we can come up with. You have a great day. All right, peace.